This presentation is to accompany the book Consumer Behavior, a Primer by Gail. Demographics influence marketing strategies. With a median age of 36.6 years, one of the demographic trends in the United States is an aging population. This is due to the twin impact of people living longer and having fewer babies. The U.S. population would be aging faster were it not for the higher birth rates of U.S. immigrants. We can look at one example of how the marketing strategy of the consumer company, Johnson & Johnson's, responded to this one trend. Here are some magazine ads from the 1950s and 1960s, when the U.S. had a high birth rate. Not surprisingly, babies are featured in these ads for Johnson & Johnson's baby products. In fact, it appears that babies rule the family. Swan's product shows mothers with their babies and father and mother with their babies. A baby is featured as the spokesperson for this ad for Ivory soap. In this 1970s ad for Johnson & Johnson's baby products, no babies are shown. Instead, the ads illustrate all the many uses of Johnson & Johnson's baby lotion for adult women. Johnson & Johnson's recognized the shrinking baby market. Johnson & Johnson targeted their baby products to include adult baby boomer women, a much larger market. Here we see that baby products have sex appeal. The same demographic trend affected orthodontists. Traditionally, it is children who wear braces on their teeth, but when the number of children shrinks, orthodontic care was targeted at adults like Miss America. Consumers like this flight attendant was among those targeted. This man, who is celebrating his 40th birthday, was not too old to wear braces. Healthy-minded adults in general were the target of orthodontic care. This is a 1970s ad, as you can tell by the guy's shorty shorts and the lady's extra flared pants. In the 1950s, babies entreated their mothers to smoke Marlboros. In the 1970s, adults were featured, and warnings of the hazards of smoking were mandated by federal law. Population growth from immigration is substantially larger in the United States than in other industrialized countries. This demographic trend was the headline, "The Minority Majority," on the cover of American Demographics magazine. California, like Hawaii, is a state where the United States Census finds a majority of none. Consequently, the heterogeneous nature of the U.S. population affects marketing strategies. In 1991, salsa overtook ketchup as the preferred condiment. Athletes like NBA Lakers' Derek Fisher and soccer player David Beckham sport tattoos of Chinese characters and Japanese kanji on their bodies. Athletes can also sport Chinese characters and Japanese kanji on their feet. Members of a generation, or a cohort as sociologists call them, share commonalities. Each generation shares a common age, a common stage in their life cycle, and live through the same current events. These shared commonalities make the members of each generation similar to one another and different from other generations. Marketing strategies recognize these generational differences. A suitable candidate for the GenY generational marketing campaign might be Nike's Just Do It. A generational marketing campaign for GenX is Mountain Dew's Do the Do.
I see a little silhouette of a can. Mountain Dew, time to do the slam dunk go. Citrus taste and quenching, very, very exciting me. Fantastico, Magnifico. They're just thirsty dudes, anybody knows that. They're just thirsty dudes, out on a thirsty day, sparing their life from this banality. Easy come, easy go, will he get the dew? Bismillah. No, he will not get the dew. Get the dew. Bismillah. She will not get the dew. Get the dew. Bismillah. They will not get the dew. Get the dew. We will get the dew. Get the dew. We will get the dew. Here we go.
A likely candidate for the Boomer Generation marketing campaign is Coca-Cola's I'd Like to Buy the World a Coke.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing. Sing with me. Perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. That's the real thing. I'd like to teach the world to sing. In perfect harmony. Perfectly. And I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. It's the real thing. What the world wants today. It's the real thing. What the world wants today.
The U.S. Census Bureau provided this graphic of the generations. These include the baby boomers, Gen X, lucky few, and so on. The names given to each generation captures the commonality of the members of that generation. You'll find that the names may vary from source to source. The number of generations may also vary. Some sources provide finer gradation than others. This is where the different generations live. Notice that the names and age ranges of the generations named on this slide are not the same as those in the previous slide. These variations are found in demographic information. We'll take a look at the Boomer generation, born between 1946 and 1964. They are such a huge generation. Their sheer size allowed them to define or redefine the meaning of the age and the life stage they occupied. The Boomers crowded onto college campuses in the 1960s and 1970s and protested against the Vietnam War, the draft, and other policies that they opposed. The battle cry was, "Don't trust anyone over 30," because by age 30, people were too old and ossified to change. But in the 1970s and 80s, when the baby boomers matured and moved into careers, they morphed into materialistic yuppies. The battle cry, as seen on this bumper sticker, changed to, "He who dies with the most toys wins." Another decade passes, and the battle cries of the boomer changed once more to reflect their stage in the life cycle. This ad for Citi shouts it out, "He who dies with the most toys is still dead." The same boomers who screamed, "Don't trust anyone over 30," are now very much over the age of 30. And so they have redefined old. 50 is the new 30. 60 is the new 40. Both men and women refuse to look, feel, or act old, and in the process have popularized cosmetics and cosmetic surgical procedures for both men and women. A young Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones said, "I hope I die before I get old." He still struts around on stage, but he doesn't say that anymore. This ad, targeted at boomers, celebrates the age and the stage in the life cycle.